Bismillahi walhamdulillahi assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, my dear brothers. Today we are starting a new surah, Surah An-Noor, and we will try our best to cover from ayah number 1 until 29. There are very important topics and instructions that we will receive in this surah, so I'll need your 200% attention, like always. So, just to get a quick introduction of the surah, the surah's name is Surah An-Noor. Who can tell me what is the meaning of An-Noor, or what is the meaning of Noor? Yes, Omar, go ahead. Light. It's the light. Jazakallahu khairan, Omar. Thank you so much. You're right. Noor means the light. And what does a light do? Who will tell me? What happens when you turn on the light? What is the function of light?
Lights the path.
It does what?
It illuminates the area.
Yeah, it illuminates the area, so the darkness goes away. Again, Jazakallahu khairan, Umar. Thank you so much. Nuruddin, you have your hand raised. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir, I was about to say that it eliminates the darkness.
Excellent. You are right. Jazakumullahu khairan to both of you. Both of you are right. What light does is it removes darkness. Okay. What I want you guys to keep in mind when we go through this surah inshallah together is Surah An-Noor was revealed to remove the moral darkness from the society. So there are certain elements as human beings, when we live in a society, there are certain norms that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has built in the Sharia law that we will go through in this surah in the Quran, and you can go through in detail in the Hadith and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this surah was revealed to remove this darkness, and we will touch upon this today inshallah in our class as well. Very quickly, introductory points. This surah was revealed in Medina. It has 64 ayahs. An-Noor, as we just discussed, meaning is the light. This surah was revealed to strengthen the moral fiber of the Muslim society. How do we strengthen the Muslim society on moral grounds? And we'll get to talk about it as well. The context is it's revealed in Medina after the campaign against Bani al-Mustaliq, which took place after the Battle of Trench. So this is a Madani surah. The major issues and divine laws and guidance related to the punishment of serious crimes like rape, fornication, adultery, which means also illegal sexual intercourse. We know that in Islam, in order to fulfill your desire, a male and female are supposed to get married, and they can fulfill their desire accordingly. However, if someone has sexual intercourse illegally outside of the marriage, then these are the sins that they incur. Nuruddin, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, in the point 2, what does AH mean? 6
After Hijri, 6 years after the Hijrah of the Holy Prophet from Makkah to Medina. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Excellent. Then there was a concept of lian, bearing witness against one's own wife when there is no other witness in the case of adultery. So we will go through this in the details in the coming ayahs of today as well. And then there was also the slander against the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hazrat Aisha raziyallahu ta'ala anha, and Allah's declaration of her innocence. So there was a story that was cooked at that point in time with some people who had some ill intention because of an event that happened. However, it was fabricated, it was false. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared for her innocence. And there was a strong admonition to those who were involved in that scandal. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned them of a very severe punishment. So we'll go through all of this inshallah today as well. So let's start today's lesson. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from shaitan, the outcast, the cursed one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Suratun anzalnaha wa faradnaha wa anzalna fiha ayatin bayyinatin la'allakum tadhakkarun. A surah, we have sent this down. So this surah is coming down with an objective, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning and we have made it obligatory, and we have revealed therein verses or ayahs that are clear so that you may take heed, meaning so that you may implement upon yourself. Every surah in the Holy Quran is about the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we need to implement on our lives, right? Now, why is this very important? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is stating it very clearly for us, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. And whoever creates something, the creator knows best how his creation should operate, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our khaliq, he's our creator. So he knows how we should operate, because he's the one who has created us. He has put us all the body parts and everything, and the functioning, the brain, the heart, the feelings and everything, and how we come into being, how we are born, how we die. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the entire cycle, and he has created this. So he's the one who knows how we should operate. The example of this, we have discussed this, the same concept previously as well, of a user manual. What is a user manual? Who will tell me? What is a user manual for anything when you buy a machinery or you buy a software?
Instructions.
Yes, who will tell me? A user manual, sorry.
It is instructions.
Excellent. It is a set of instructions. Yes, Nuruddin, go ahead. Your hand is raised.
Yes, sir, I want to say the same, that the instructions based on how it's made and what is personalities, what it can do and everything.
Okay, you're right. So basically, user manual is something that comes in. These days, people, I mean, they look at the user manual as well. So it's like a book that comes in with instructions. So if you're buying even a toy, you're buying a medicine, you're buying a software, you're buying whatever, there is a user. Even if you buy a car, there's a user manual that comes in. What does it tell you? The manufacturer basically is telling you how to operate that thing, right? So it's a set of instructions given by the manufacturers or whosoever has created on how anything should operate. Otherwise, it will not work and it will malfunction. So you will not get the desired result out of it. And you can even corrupt it. So if it's a software or if it's a hardware, for example, I'm not supposed to put water on my, on the laptop. And if I put, of course, fumes will be out and everything will be off. So I'm not supposed to do that. This is an instruction. Although some instructions are so clear, like, you're not supposed to put water on the laptop. But I'm just saying that there are instructions that are there, and we know that things that we should not do with something, and they come from the manufacturer. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator, right? He has also sent down our user manual, which is the Quran. So Quran is the book of guidance, which our creator has sent us as a set of instructions. If you want to be successful in this life, in this world, and if you want to be successful in the hereafter, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. This is halal. This is haram. This is how we should operate. So the laws for the individual and for the society will be made according to the guidance of Quran if we are to be successful as human beings. So these laws are universal. Quran is for everyone, right? So those people who are Muslims, definitely they need to follow. However, other human beings as well, if they become Muslims and they follow the Sharia law, of course, they can benefit from all these laws as well. So Quran is the user manual that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent. Muhammad Hassan Abdullah, you have raised your hand. Go ahead.
Is the Quran for non-Muslims also?
Yes, so basically, Quran itself, I mean, a non-Muslim will not follow the Quran. When I say Quran and revelation is for non-Muslims, I mean the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent for all the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of all the people. So ideal case, non-Muslims should accept the guidance and they should become Muslims and they should follow the Quran. So this revelation in this Quran, I mean, several times, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O you who believe, all the believers, those people who are Muslims. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also addressing to all mankind. So there are instructions for all mankind. And the idea is, if all mankind today became Muslim, then obviously the guidance and the Quran is for them as well. And the mission of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was to bring this revelation and Quran to everyone. So from that context, obviously Quran becomes relevant for all human beings regardless. And of course, we need to, so what is our job? Once we have read this, our job as Muslims is to inspire others towards Islam. So we should inspire other non-Muslims from our actions, from our good actions towards Islam. They should become inquisitive. How come you're treating me so well? How come you're, you're being nice with me and everything else? And then you should inspire them towards Islam. And we should also, there's a role of dawah that we have as well to bring others to Islam as well, which is why Quran is a revelation that is relevant for all human beings. I hope the point is clear. So there's another point which is very important. So one thing is the Quran, which is our user manual. However, these days, people create a lot of videos. You can, whenever you buy something, even if it's whatever it is, a car or a toy or anything, these days there are lots of videos either on YouTube, these days also on TikTok, that to show how something was, people like to watch videos. It's easier. When you see someone using something, you don't have to go through, for example, the user manual or anything. Or you can even refer to the user manual and you can watch the video as well. So, and it becomes easy to implement something when someone shows how, right? So if someone shows you how to do it. So this thing, again, is valid. And that is from Islamic perspective, and that is the Sunnah and Hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is the last of the prophets. And the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained us via his Hadith and showed us practically how to implement it in our lives via his Sunnah, or the ways that he used to live his life. So we have a book, which is an amazing book, the user manual, how we should operate. And we have the explanations of that book and examples on how to implement that book on our individual lives, as well as collectively as a society, from the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I hope this point is also clear. Now we will see the practical implementation of those laws and how we should implement them from a moral standpoint in our society. So let's continue. So if you focus now on this ayah, a surah, we have sent it down and we have made it obligatory, and we have revealed there in the verses that are clear so that you may take heed, so that you may implement them in your lives. So now I think it should be clear based on what we have discussed, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. He has shared the guidance and we need to implement it in our lives. And we have an amazing example of the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the action for us is, we have to take this guidance very seriously if we want to be successful in this life and hereafter. I hope this point is clear. Moving forward. Adhaniyatu, now the first set of instruction is coming according to the moral standards of the society. Adhaniyatu wadhani fajlidu kulla wahidim minhuma mi'ata jalda wala jaldatin wala ta'khuzukum bihima ra'fatun fi dinillahi in kuntum tu'minuna billahi wal yawmil akhir wal yashhad adhabahuma ta'ifatum minal mu'minin. Let's go through this ayah. The fornicatress and the fornicator, meaning the female person who performs that illegal sexual act and the male or a male person who does an illegal act, then flog each of them with 100 lashes. So if there is a person, there's a male or a female who does this illegal sexual act, then they should be lashed 100 times with 100 lashes, and let not withhold you pity for them. You should not have pity on them. You should not say, but the poor person, and look at them, and we should not give them punishment, or it becomes a human right issue. Why? We will understand that as well. You should not withhold you pity for them concerning the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the last day. So if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you believe in the day of judgment, you will implement this punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is guiding you. And let witness their punishment a group of the believers. So there should be a group of believers who should also be witnessing this punishment. There is a question. What is the meaning of lash? Lash is like, it's like a leather long rope that you hit someone on the back. So it hurts, really. And it can also leave a mark. So they are supposed to be given 100 lashes. It's a very painful punishment. And you can check it over the internet as well. Yes, Nuruddin, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Sir, we also call it hip.
Yes,
WHIP hip.
correct. It's also called
Is that the same thing?
whip. Yes, it's the same thing as the whip. You're right. Okay. So now let's look at the explanation of this ayah, because there are some very important points that we need to focus on, and there is a Sahih Hadith that we need to discuss related to this ayah. So the Sahih Hadith is narrated Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Allah's Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam judged. So he passed a judgment that the unmarried person who was guilty of illegal sexual intercourse be exiled for 1 year and receive the legal punishment, meaning they should be flogged with 100 stripes or 100 lashes or whips. So they should be given 100 lashes, and then they should be banished and sent away, right? So here, this is about the unmarried person. So if a person is not married and they perform this illegal sexual act that they're supposed to do only when they perform nikah and they have a legal partner, a husband or a wife, so then they are supposed to fulfill those desires. However, if they do illegally and they're not married, then they are supposed to be lashed 100 times and then exiled or banished or sent away from that area. Now look at the second part. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari radhiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, a man from the tribe of Bani Aslam came to Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and informed him that he had committed illegal sexual intercourse and he bore witness 4 times against himself. So the person who has committed his sin, now he is regretting. He came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he told him that I have done this sin, and he was married and he committed this. So the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered him to be stoned to death as he was a married person. So what we learn from this is that we have to implement the punishments of illegal sexual intercourse, and there are 2 types of punishment. For unmarried male and female, they should be given 100 lashes and they should be banished or sent to exile. They should be sent away from that land where they were living. For married male and female, they should be stoned to death. This is coming in directly in the Quran. And the second part of the ayah that was very important was the punishment should be given in public so that others can also take heed and don't dare to do it. Sometimes people say that the punishment in Islam are so severe and they are so harsh and they're against human rights and all of these things that they build around the Sharia law of Islam. What we need to understand is the punishments are so harsh so that the others don't do it. If you don't punish people harshly in this world, then others get encouraged. For example, if you just put them in prison for a year or something, they'll say, fine, whatever. They will overcome their desire. They will do all these illegal acts. And eventually they will say, fine, I'll go to prison and come out. The important thing is that you give severe punishments to people so that other people in the society, when they see this happening, they abstain from all such acts. This way you end up cleansing the entire society. There's a hand raised. Hassan Abdullah, please go ahead. Muhammad Hassan Abdullah.
The first one is what's the meaning of stoning to death? And the second one is that is this punishment in this world or also in the akhirah?
Okay, very good question. Jazakallahu khairan. So the question is, what is the meaning of stoning to death? Stoning to death means that the people keep on hitting them with stones until they die. So if you hit someone from stone, obviously they start to bleed and it's very painful, right? So once you hit them from stones multiple times, then they die actually. So this is a very painful form of punishment, and which is why people have been asked there should be some witnesses so that they also get scared. When somebody dies like this in front of you, you don't even think about committing that act, right? So that's the overall idea. The other question related to the punishment of the hereafter, this is something that is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the person. Once they have taken this punishment, we know there are hadith where the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked people not to talk badly about that person after they have taken their punishment. It's a very strong punishment. They have taken it. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cleanse them and they will, just because they took this punishment in this world, they will be forgiven in the afterlife as well. However, we cannot say this for sure. We cannot say this. We cannot pass a judgment ourselves that someone will receive a punishment or someone will go to hellfire, someone will go to Jannah. it is not our job. It is the job of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pass the judgment. What we can do in this world is we have to stop wrong acts. So we can stop acts and we can say that this person committed a wrongful act and they should be punished in this world. But we cannot say, oh, and we cannot judge that they are the ones, they are going to hell and they're going, for sure he's going to hellfire. People take it very casually. We should not say this. Why? Because the final judgment of someone going to hellfire or Jannah only resides with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None of us can make that judgment. I hope this point is clear. So, Nuruddin, your hand is raised. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Am I the only one who couldn't hear his voice? Or was he you?
Guys, are you able to listen to me? All of you?
Yes, sir, I can listen to you. But the guy who was question.
The question. Okay, you didn't hear the question. Okay. Yes, there was a low voice. So the question was, what is the meaning of stoning to death? That I also explained, and it was also if the person will also get some punishment in the hereafter. So that this is something that I was explaining. Next time when somebody asks a question, I will try to repeat the question as well. That's a good point. Thank you, Noor.
I got it. Thank you.
Jazakallah. Okay, excellent. So we discussed this. Very good. Let's move forward. Azani la yankehu illa zaniyatan aw mushrika. The fornicator will not marry except a fornicatress or a polytheist woman. Wadhaniyatu la yankehuha illa zanin aw mushrik. And the fornicatress will not marry her except a fornicator or a polytheist man. So bad people have bad people for them to get married. So if a person continues to perform this act and they are fornicators, for example, and they do this illegal sexual act, then for them, there are similar women, and for such women who do perform such acts, there are similar men. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is combining this act with being mushrik or polytheist. So it is such a high criminal activity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making it equal and mentioning it with polytheism or with shirk, when you worship more than one God, more than one God, when you don't believe in monotheism of Islam, which is La ilaha illallah. So this is also seen as directly in line with the believing person or a non-believing person. وَحُرِّمَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And it is forbidden that to the believers. So bad people will get married to bad people, and they will not be able to get married to the believers or pure people. Now coming on another very important point. وَالَّذِينَ يَرْمُونَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَأْتُوا بِأَرْبَعَةِ شُهَدَاءَ فَاجْلِدُوهُمْ ثَامِنِينَ جَلْدَةً وَلَا تَقْبَلُوا لَهُمْ شَهَادَةً أَبَدًا وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. And those who accuse the chaste woman, then they do not bring 4 witnesses, then flog them with 80 lashes. So let's say a person says, and this person is not related to that woman. Let's say he's not the husband or the wife, because for the husband and wife to accuse the other person, there are other ayahs that are coming. Here we are talking about a person who accuses a woman who is of good character, and he cannot produce 4 witnesses, then he should receive 80 lashes for making a false accusation on a woman who was of good character. And their testimony will not be accepted ever. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. And they are the ones who are defiantly disobedient. Here again, we need to keep the big picture that we discussed earlier. We are talking about the morals of a society. A person cannot just walk in and say, this woman who may be of a good character, she is of bad character, she does this and that and this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if they are not able to produce 4 witnesses against her, then give them 80 lashes. This is a severe punishment for someone wrongfully accusing a female or a person of good character. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ تَابُوا مِن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ وَأَصْلَحُوا. Except those who repent after and reform. So let's say they made the false accusation, they got the lashes, and then they started to repent, and then they seek forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then fine, you can take their testimony. Or because in the previous ayah it was mentioned that give them the lashes and do not accept ever their testimony, but then accept those who repent after that and they change themselves and they reform and they stop making these false accusations. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ, then indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is of forgiving and of merciful. So again, the second action that is coming related to the moral fiber of the society and the moral instructions that we are getting: implement the punishments of false accusations against chaste women, and in case accuser doesn't bring 4 witnesses, what will they get? They will get 80 lashes, and never to accept their testimony unless they resent and seek forgiveness and reform themselves, as we just went through the ayah. Now, this is a moment of pausing a little bit. You know what happens in social media. In our society, it is common to talk about different people, males and females, and to accuse them related to their affairs, and this person having this boyfriend, and this is having this, and all of this. This is almost talking about their character. And this happens both for famous people and even for normal people. Even if you're not famous, people gossip. This word gossip should make you a little bit afraid, and you should be cautious. When there is gossip going on, you have to be careful, especially about people, especially about their character. So, and these days, there is a lot of news, and people think that, they're sharing news about a person having an affair with another person, a celebrity having an affair with another person. This is boyfriend, this is girlfriend. These days, it is so common. We as Muslims should not forward, share, or talk about anyone's character unless we have 4 witnesses. This is what we just learned in the previous ayah. You cannot talk about somebody's character unless you have 4 authentic witnesses. That means everything that happens on social media about the personal lives of people, and this person is having this, unless they say it on their by themselves, even then such things are not to be discussed, not to forward, not to spread immorality. And we will go through those ayahs as well today, that immorality is the way of shaitan. And even if a person is trying to say such things about themselves, and they're being cool about that, this is my boyfriend and we are living together and all of this, while they are being Muslims or whatever, this should not be spread, because this spreads immorality. There's a question in chat. What if someone committed a zina but didn't have 4 witnesses? What Islam said in that case? So let's say the question is, I am obviously not a Islamic scholar or a mufti, but reading from the ayahs, let's say somebody committed zina, right? And the other person knows that they did, but if they cannot produce the 4 witnesses, then from the ayahs that we are getting, they cannot be blamed for it, or they cannot be slandered for it. Okay, and we will go through another rule. Just wait for that. And in that rule, you will see the between the spouses. So there is clear instructions for the spouses, and that will clarify as well. So somebody is asking, what is zina? So let me explain it just one more time for those, because some of you may be younger and you haven't been exposed to this, but it is very, very important for all of you to know this, because we are going through this study. So normally, I want all of your attention so that I explain this concept to everyone. Normally, a male and a female, or a husband or a wife, there are strong desires that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has built in, that you feel as you start to grow older. And that is called the age of puberty. So when you reach the age of puberty, and after that, you get those desires for the opposite sex, for the male, for the female, and there is attraction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has built. Now we are supposed to fulfill these desires via a formal legal relationship that is called a nikah in Islam. So once you perform this nikah between a male and a female, they become husband and wife. And then they have that relationship. Out of that relationship, and out of them performing that act between a husband and wife, they also get children. And that's how the entire race and human kind continues to grow, and the population continues to grow, and children continue to be born in this world. So this is the concept. Now, if someone is fulfilling this desire out with someone that they're not married with, this is called zina, or this is called illegal sexual intercourse that they're not supposed to do. Okay, so this is called zina, and I hope everybody is clear. And this is a major sin in Islam. We are not supposed to do it. So we are supposed to perform nikah with the other person and then get into that relationship. Okay, so another question came. What if the person does repentance? Sorry, it's very difficult to read in the chat, but I am glad that I am getting all these questions and I want to answer all of them. Sir, what if a person do repentance after sin but don't receive his punishment yet in this world? Is it necessarily to get punishment in this world? From what we learned of the hadith, and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet. Yes, I mean, they used to go to the Holy Prophet and they used to get, and the Holy Prophet, once they had declared and once they have done the testimony, used to give that punishment. Now, if there is a specific case of someone and someone has committed a sin, I would rather advise you to go to a Islamic scholar or a mufti or someone whom you trust so that they can guide you better. So that would be my thing. Until we are married, we are supposed to refrain. We are supposed to control that desire. What is the meaning of witness? Witness means someone who has seen it. Shahid in Arabic, meaning someone who has seen it, someone who was actually there, or you would have seen it, who would have heard it, who knows that you have done it. That is the meaning of witness. So four witnesses mean that if such a crime has happened, four people should have seen it. Okay, what else? A person who sees an event happening, especially a crime or an incident. Excellent answer. Jazakallah khairan for the person who answered. Yes, who have sabut. So somebody says who has sabut. Sabut itself is a so the witness is this person. It's, I'm forgetting the word anyways in English. Anyways, yes, you're right. So this is correct.
Sir, evidence.
Evidence. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khairan Nuruddin. Yes, it's evidence. So the evidence is called sabut in Urdu. Okay. Okay. So we have answered all the questions, hopefully. So we have discussed this. For again, I will repeat, for any particular case, if you know someone or if something is happening, then you need to consult with an elder. You need to consult with a person with knowledge. The best person to consult is someone who's a mufti or Islamic scholar who can guide you best on the specifics. However, what we are going through in our class are the concepts that we go through in the Quran. And then obviously there is Sharia law that is very, very specific. And there are learned Islamic scholars or alims who have the detailed knowledge about those laws. Okay, good. For us, an action that is coming that is very, very important for us is because people just forward and share this news and they want to have fun and they want to discuss all of these things about, especially about celebrities and who's with him and all of that. We should not talk or forward or share or discuss anything, obviously, unless we have four witnesses, and that won't be usually the case. Moving forward. وَالَّذِينَ يَرْمُونَ أَزْوَاجَهُمْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُمْ شُهَدَاءُ إِلَّا أَنفُسُهُمْ فَشَهَادَةُ أَحَدِهِمْ أَرْبَعُ شَهَادَاتٍ بِاللَّهِ إِنَّهُ لَمِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. Very important point. And those who accuse their spouses. So earlier, we saw about the acquisition of or saying someone who is not related. So they need to produce four witnesses. However, if there is a husband and a wife, and husband has seen his wife cheating, or wife and husband and wife has seen her husband cheating, then what is the case? And those who accuse their spouses and they don't have witnesses for themselves, except themselves, so they are the ones who have seen themselves, then the testimony of one of them is four testimonies by Allah. So if they say, yes, by God, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I witness, I'm sharing this testimony by keeping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in front of me, then it is, and that he is surely the truthful. So if they say this, then their testimony is taken into account. And then, so the four testimonies will be counted in favor of that person if he is accusing his wife or if a lady is accusing her husband. وَالْخَامِسَةُ أَنَّ لَعْنَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ إِنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْكَاذِبِينَ. And the fifth, that the curse of Allah be upon him if he is of the liars. This is a very, very important point. I know there is a hand raised, but let me complete this point, inshallah, and then I'll take questions. So let's say there is a person, there's a husband or a wife, and they accuse, any one of them accuse the other. They need to testify bearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as witness that yes, this person has committed this sin. And the fifth is that may the curse be upon me if I am amongst the liars, if that person who's saying. So this is a very, very important point. And now we can think that yes, someone can even say that, and they can lie, whatever. However, let's go to the other point, and then once we complete both these 2 points, then we'll discuss it in detail. وَيَدْرَأُ أَنْهَا الْأَذَابَ أَنْ تَشْهَدَ أَرْبَعَ شَهَادَةٍ بِاللَّهِ. So the first person make the acquisition and said, I am witness, my 4 testimony count, and the fifth is, if I am a liar, then may the curse of Allah be with me, right? Now, what should the other person do who's being accused? This person is the accuser. They are saying this person A is saying that person B has done this sin, and they are both husband and wife, for example, right? Now, what is the option with person B? But it would prevent her from the punishment that she bear witnesses 4 testimonies by Allah that he is surely the liar. Now, the option for the person B is that now this person can say that I am testifying 4 times that this person is a liar. And the 5th is what? وَالْخَامِسَةَ أَنَّ غَضَبَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهَا إِنْ كَانَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. And the 5th is that wrath of Allah, the anger of Allah may be upon her if he is of the truthful. So what is happening? Let me explain it a little bit again. There's a husband and a wife. One person is accusing the other that other person has done this sin. They performed an illegal sexual act, and they are the witness. They are saying, I say this, my testimony is 4 times, and I bear witness in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if I am wrong, then may the curse of Allah be upon me. This is this person saying. Now there is a person B. This is the person who is being accused. What option they have? The punishment can be stopped on them if they say that no, I bear testimony in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I bear witness that I have not done this and this person is a liar. Then the punishment will not be given to the other person. Remember, these are married people, so the other person will not be stoned to death. However, someone can say that someone can be scared, and how come they say this? In Islam, we need to understand that we will come to that point, but let's just discuss this. So those who accuse their spouses and they don't have a witness except themselves, then their testimony is 4 times, and the 5th will be the curse of Allah if they're lying. The punishment can be prevented by the other person if other spouse bears witness to 4 testimonies by Allah, and 5th be the wrath of Allah. They say, wrath of Allah be made with me. So we may think that either of them can lie and get away with it. So the first person who's accusing can lie, and the other person can also lie and say, no, I bear witness, just to move away from the punishment. However, we need to understand they may get away temporarily. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the power to punish them in this world later on, while absolute justice Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will serve on the day of judgment, on which there is no doubt. So the law of Islam is built on things that are for sure. So even if the other person lies, who is being accused, and says, no, I have not done this, this is a liar, I put my testimony in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they try to get away, they cannot go away far, because eventually all of us will die and be in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has all the knowledge, and he will serve the absolute justice. So there was a hand raised. Please go ahead, Muhammad Hassan. What's your question?
I have so many questions for mine right now. Actually, is there are 2 persons, husband and a wife. So let's suppose that the husband saw the wife cheating, and he is the only one who saw that. He is the only witness. So he is the full of the 4 witnesses that he needs.
Okay, so I will repeat the question because the voice was a bit low. So let me repeat the question. The question is, let's say there is a husband and a wife, and husband saw his wife cheating, for example, or doing something that she should not be. Now he is the only witness. So will the husband's testimony, or will he still needs to get 4 witnesses? No, the answer is no. What we are learning from this ayahs, the previous ayahs, is husband's testimony will count up to 4. And he will go and he will say to the judge that I have seen my wife doing this wrongful act, and my testimonies count as 4. And if I am wrong, then may the wrath of Allah be upon me. Now, what is the option for the wife? She will either accept it, and if she accepts it, then she will be stoned to death, as we read that for the married person, it is stoning to death, the punishment. But if she has not done it, let's say, or if she has done it even, and she says, no, I haven't done it, and my testimony is equal to 4 as well, and this person is a liar, and may the wrath and anger of Allah be upon me, then she will be saved from the punishment. She will be saved from the punishment, but eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold her accountable because she bear witness in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If she was wrong, and if she did not commit that act, again she will be saved. So in both cases, if the wife says, I have not done it, and I bear witness in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she will not be punished. She will not be punished, even if the husband has seen it. Why she will not be punished? Because she has the option to protect herself and say that I bear witness. But she cannot run far. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the power to punish her even in a worse way in this world, and also he will administer his justice on the day of judgment. We should not forget anything. Anyway, I mean, if you look at any sin that we perform, anything that we do, we think that we are alone. Nobody is watching us, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us. So this is a very, very important point. We think we can get away in this world, right? Why Islam has given, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this option? Because for the false acquisition of the husband, the option is given that the wife can be saved from the punishment. The option is not given for a person who has committed the crime to get away from the crime, because eventually they'll be held. I mean, they cannot run away far, and eventually all of us will die and be in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I hope the point is clear. Okay. The hand is raised again. Please go ahead.
Yes, so that means that he will be punished in this world and the akhirah also. And in the akhirah, God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will ask question to him that did you committed this crime?
Yes, you're right. You're correct. Jazakallahu khairan. And if they have done the crime and they try to move away from it, and they can temporarily save themselves from stoning to death, but we don't know now how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold them accountable in this world or in the akhirah, right? But if somebody goes through the punishment and they accept that, yes, I did this crime, and they go through the punishment in this world, then chances are that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, they will not be punished in the hereafter, because they have gone through such a painful punishment in this world. And however, as I said earlier, we cannot pass a judgment what will happen to anyone on the day of judgment. That is alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the most merciful. He can show mercy to people based on their other acts or whatever. I mean, we don't know the context, and we are not the ones to pass that judgment. Okay, so this also should be clear. Moving forward, وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ تَوَّابٌ حَكِيمٌ. And if not for the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you and his mercy, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is oft returning, all wise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Hakim. He is all wise. He has all the knowledge, and he has all the knowledge, and he is the most merciful. Inna allazina ja'u bil ifki usbatum minkum. Indeed, those who brought the lie are a group among you. Now, we are going through the story of the slander against the wife of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The brief incident is that they had gone, as we saw in the introduction of the surah as well, that they had moved and they had gone after the Battle of Trench to a ghazwa with the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was left behind because of an incident. She was looking for something she couldn't find. Later on, she came. There was a Sahaba who brought her. However, the people with ill intentions said wrong things and put a slander against her. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala witnessed. And all of these strong ayahs came against slandering the person whom you don't have real witnesses for. So this is now the stories and the ayahs that we are going through. There is a Sahih Hadith that I will mention here that has the full account of the story. Those of you who are interested, you can search for the Sahih Hadith. In the interest of the time for the class, I will not be discussing that entire Hadith, but it has the entire account written down in clarity, and it is narrated by Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha herself. So, inna lazina ja'u bil ifki usbatum minkum. Indeed, those who brought the lie are a group among you. La tahsabuhu sharran lakum. Do not think it bad for you. They don't think that, it is anything wrong, whatever. Bal huwa khairul lakum. Nay, it is good for you. Likullim ri'im minhum ma maktasaba minal ism. For every person among them is what he earned of the sin. Wallazi tawalla kibrahu minhum lahu azabun azim. And the one who took upon himself a greater share of it among them, for him is a great punishment. So basically, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, when such people who have ill intentions, when they bring something morally wrong, and this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started this story and this incident and this wrong slander that happened, and he's saying that this was a lie that a group brought. So he started the discussion about this topic by clearly defining it and saying that this was a complete lie. And now you will see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will mention to those who will be severely punished, who kept on saying. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also guide us on how we should react, or how they should have reacted when they hear such a wrong thing about a person with good character. Without witnesses, you can never believe, and you cannot say, so this may have happened and this may have happened. You cannot let your mind wander. So let's go through it. Lawla is sami'tumuhu zanna al-mu'minuna wal-mu'minatu bil anfusihim khayra. Khayran wa qalu haza ifkum mubin. Why not, when you heard it, think the believing men and the believing women good of themselves and say this is a clear lie. When you hear about someone who's of good character and you don't have witnesses, then you should say that this is a lie, because we know that person. Their character is so good. Related to this ayah, as I said, see the Sahih al-Bukhari, the hadith number is 4750. The entire story of the slander against Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is narrated, and you guys can go through it, all the details. What we need to learn from it is we cannot put a slander on someone of good character unless we have witnesses. لَوْلَا جَاءُوا عَلَيْهِ بِأَرْبَعَةِ شُهَدَاء. Why did not they bring for it 4 witnesses? فَإِذْ لَمْ يَأْتُوا بِالشُّهَدَاءِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ هُمُ الْكَاذِبُونَ. Then when they did not bring the witnesses, then those near Allah are the liars. So this is the strong words and warning from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well, that these guys are liars who did not even bring the witnesses and they were just talking falsehood. وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. And if not for the grace and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you in this world and the hereafter, لَمَسَّكُمْ فِي مَا أَفَزْتُمْ فِيهِ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. Surely would you have touched you what you had gushed guiltily concerning it, a great punishment. So what this society was doing, talking wrong about a person of good character, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not have blessed them with their mercy, they would have gone into a great punishment. It is a great sin for a society to talk about immoral things without having witnesses, without having evidence against someone. And this is the key lesson that comes out from this story as well, and from all these ayah. إِذْ تَلَقَّوْنَهُ بِأَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَتَقُولُونَ بِأَفْوَاهِكُمْ مَا لَيْسَ لَكُمْ بِهِ عِلْمٌ وَتَحْسَبُونَهُ هَيِّنًا. When you received it with your tongues and you said it with your mouths, what for you of it without having any knowledge of it, and you thought it was insignificant. So you kept on talking about it and you thought that something, this is very light, it is not very important. And you were talking about it with your tongue and you were thinking about that thing, that slander, so casually. وَهُوَ إِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْعَظِيمُ. While it was great near Allah. It's a great sin to talk about someone of good character without having any witnesses. It's a great sin. You should not be spreading such stuff. You should stop the chain of spreading. وَلَوْلَا إِذْ سَمِعْتُمُهُ قُلْتُمْ مَا يَكُونُ لَنَا أَن نَّكَلَّمَ بِهَذَا. And why not, when you heard it, you said, no, it is not for us that we speak about it. We should not be talking about it. When you hear such thing, the first response should be, we should not be talking about it. We should not be spreading it. Subhanaka haza buhtanun azim. Glory be to you. This is a great slander. This should have been the response of those people who heard about that story and heard about that slander against Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha, the wife of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is a lesson for us. Even today, when we hear about such stories for someone of good character, or if that same person is not saying themselves, then this means that we have to assume they are of good character, and that is a slander, until and unless 4 witnesses are being shown or they come forward. Ya'izukumullahu an ta'udu limislihi abadan in kuntum mu'minin. Allah warns you that you return to the like of it ever. If you do something like this ever, if you are believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving a strong warning against people who perform such acts, who spread such rumors about other people's character. وَيُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمُ الْآيَاتِ وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ حَكِيمٌ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes clear to you His ayat, His verses, His signs. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the all-knower and all-wise. He has absolute knowledge. So all of the questions that were coming to our mind, what if the person lies? What if the husband is lying because of the wife? Or what if the wife is lying because, and she's just saying, I did not do it, and all of these things? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the core point is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the absolute knowledge. Someone can deceive people. Someone can deceive a judge in this world by sharing a wrong testimony. Someone can give a wrong evidence. Someone can get 4 wrong witnesses, but they cannot run far. Everyone eventually dies. Muslim, non-Muslim, everyone dies eventually. And once we will die, the truth will come in front of us. And it is very, very important that we do not give wrong shahada. We are not false witnesses as well. It's very, very important, because then we will be held accountable on the day of judgment by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who's the all-knower and all-wise. There are 2 hands raised. Nuruddin, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have a question right now. I just remembered. There is something called in Urdu, both of them, right? It has punishment of 70 lections. Do you think it's same as we discussed before? The 80 lections and everything.
What was the word in Urdu? Can you repeat? Sorry.
Bohtan.
Bohtan. Yes. Bohtan is a slander. Excellent. Jazakallah khairan, Nuruddin. You're right.
70 lections, so it's same?
Yes, it is similar to slander. Bohtan. Yes. Bohtan is something that you say about someone that they haven't done. That's bohtan. There was another hand raised, Muhammad Hassan Abdullah. Any other question?
No, sir, my question is clear now.
Okay, excellent. Let's move forward. إن الذين يحبون أن تشيع الفاحشة في الذين آمنوا لهم عذاب أليم. Indeed, those who like that they should spread the immorality among those who believe, for them there is a painful punishment. Those people who spread immorality, there is a painful punishment. في الدنيا والآخرة, in this world and in the hereafter. والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows while you do not know. So again, a very important point. When a friend forwards us a message, forwards us a joke that is immoral, we are not supposed to read it, and we forward it and we are giggling inside, we are smiling. Nothing. Somebody asks, parents sitting in front of you, you have your device in front of you, you get something, smile, and they ask you, what is it? No, nothing, and you just forward it. You feel like you only read it. You feel like you only know about it. You feel like the immorality or a bad picture that your friend sent you or a video that you watched, you were only alone in the room. Your parents were outside or they are sleeping. You are alone late in the night and you have access to a device. So you are getting into these immoral acts, or you're spreading it even. You're sharing it with your friends, right? So this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, is there is a painful punishment in this world and in the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows while you do not know. You think you are alone in that room. You think nobody is watching you. You think your parents do not know. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows and He is watching. However, we do not know. We are not deceiving anyone else. We are not deceiving our parents. We are not deceiving Na'uzubillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are deceiving our own selves. We do not know that we are being watched and we will be held accountable. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us strongly on slandering people of good character or spreading immorality. So we should try ourselves and we should protect ourselves from immorality, and we should not spread it. First of all, you need to block all sources of immorality. It is very, very important. Please, those people whom you call friends who are sharing such stuff with you, they are not your friends. Those channels or those websites that you find interesting because you get access to such things, they're actually not good for you. All sources of immoral things, that drive immorality, that talk about that can instigate or put a fire to that desire that you're not supposed to have, then you need to block all those sources. You need to block all those websites, block all those apps, block all those people from your life, in order for yourself to protect yourself for the painful punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in this life as well as in the hereafter. Nuruddin, your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. If I'm correct, the immorality means there is no death, right?
If there is, sorry, if?
Immorality means there is no death. right?
If you're receiving something immoral and you're not looking at it, that's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying immorality. That means I know that. Is that right?
That means I'm not
I'll
what?
put, I will put in the chat, you can see.
Okay, fine. Write it in the chat. I'm sorry, your voice is not clear. Muhammad Hassan Abdullah, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Sir, do they, I mean, just brainwash us in the video and we don't know?
Exactly. Excellent point. Jazakallahu khairan. You're right. And this is a very important point that you're raising, because sometimes we watch something and it can lead to something else. Sometimes it can feel like, it's just male and female, and the female is covered, and yeah, fine. I mean, she's just showing her face, and overall she's covered. One thing can lead to another. One desire can lead to another. And the way of shaitan is to lead you from one step to the second step to the third step to the fourth step, and ultimately to zina, or the illegal sexual acts that you're not supposed to do. And one thing leads to another, which is why we always say, and we discuss in our previous classes as well, that we should apply the guidance filter. What is a guidance filter? Guidance filter is any person, anything, any act, any video, any text, any joke, anything, what you're doing, every act that you're performing, is it taking you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam, or away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam? Which is why sometimes people say, listening to music and this and that. I don't want to get into the Islamic scholarly point of view or the Mufti point of view of music and all of these things, or mixed gatherings, male and female together, talking and all of this. I don't want to get into that. You have to apply the guidance filter. Is that act taking you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or closer to Islam, or taking you away from it? Once you apply and this guidance filter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has built in us as well. So once you apply that guidance filter, you would realize that one thing can lead to another. Something can deceive you. It can be a little attractive, then it can take you through something that is additionally attractive, and something additional, and then you go on that wrong path that shaitan wants you to go. Sorry, there are some messages on the chat. I just want to read quickly. So, sir, if I am correct, the word mortal means there is no death, or hence we can say deathless. Yeah, the word mortal is different. This is immorality. It's not immortality. Just to clarify, Nuruddin, I am glad that you mentioned it on the chat. I'm not talking about immortal or mortal. I'm talking about immoral, moral. The word moral is in line with good character, or morality is doing all the right acts that are ahsan, that is good. Immorality leads you to what we just discussed, all of the points related to having those desires and having relationships outside. So the word is immorality. Okay. It's not about mortal or being dying or not. So I hope this point is clear. And somebody also asked, what is immorality? So that is also mentioned. Immorality is, by the way, if you guys want to, there is a video that we had in Quran4teens. It's a short video. I'll just show you guys on the screen. It's called No, Don't Go Near Immorality. Shaitan will pull, but you can break free. It's a very short video. It's about 8 minutes that you can find on Quran4teens YouTube. And what it tells you is, first of all, it explains what immoralities are, what are different behaviors that are considered immoral, that we are not supposed to do, and then how you can break free. So we had discussed, and it was a great discussion amongst in the same class, that we had discussed how we can break free and how we can move away from all of that, and how we can break free from the waswasas of shaitan. So I would really advise you guys to go through the video. Okay, so in the chat, I got confirmation that it is clear. Going back to where we were very quickly. So we are already almost on time, but I still have about 8-9 ayahs to cover. It may take us 10 minutes more. If some of you have something else, then you may drop out of the class and you can watch once we upload the video on YouTube later on. But I would like to continue the lesson just to complete this topic. وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. And if not for the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you and his mercy, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is full of kindness and most merciful. We just went through so many painful punishments, and however Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, this is mercy. This is protecting the society. This is protecting the individuals. When somebody does this and they go through a punishment and the public watches it, a lot of people are saved from that immorality. So in actual, when we talk about human rights and all of this essentially, these laws essentially are protecting the entire society to get into immoral acts and to get into wrongful acts. So this indeed is mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All these laws are a mercy, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is full of kindness and the most merciful. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu la tattabi'u khutuwatish shaitan. O you who believe, do not follow the footsteps of shaitan. Shaitan will lead you to immorality. وَمَن يَتَّبِعْ خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ فَإِنَّهُ يَأْمُرُ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. And whoever follows the footsteps of the shaitan, indeed he commands the immorality and the evil deeds. He does things he's not supposed to do. He gets into haram acts. وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ. And if not for the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alaykum wa rahmatuhu ma zaka minkum min ahdin abada. And if it was not for the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you and His mercy, you would not have been pure among you anyone ever. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not show us mercy and protected us from this immorality and protected us from shaitan, then most of us could have been going into immorality and not pure. Walakin Allah yuzakki man yasha. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purifies whoever He wills. We should seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The way of shaitan is, you are such a bad person, you are such an immoral person, you just committed a crime. How can you go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for forgiveness? This is what shaitan does. This is what shaitan did himself. He wants us to follow his way. What he did was, he did something wrong, and then he became arrogant about it. He said, I'm made of fire. Adam alayhi salam is not made of, he's just made of clay. Why should I prostrate in front of him? So he refused. And then he went into it and he said, he did not ask for forgiveness. He said, no, I will make sure that I sit on Sirat al-Mustaqim, the right path. And I will make sure I put people astray and put them on the wrong path. However, the way of Adam alayhi salam was what? He made a mistake and then asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him an amazing dua to seek that forgiveness, and he came on the right path, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pardoned him. This should be our way of Adam alayhi salam. Even if we make mistakes, even if we commit certain more immoral acts, even if we have watched certain that we are not supposed to do, we should go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for His forgiveness. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have His mercy upon us. There are few messages in, I cannot find or wake up for, okay, so there are other things that we are discussing. Please, if you have other questions not related to this topic, feel free to WhatsApp me as well, and I can get back to you. Okay, moving forward. So this is about the immoralities and shaitan, how he wants to go, how he takes us from one step to the other. You can watch this video, and there are ways and we discuss those ways and solutions how we can break free from shaitan. Moving forward, wala ya'tali ulul fazli minkum was-sa'ati an yu'tu ulil qurba wal masakina wal muhajirina fi sabilillah. And not let swear those of virtue among you, and the amplitude of means that they give to the near of kin and the needy and the immigrants, and in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So basically, when people are performing good acts, they should not swear, they should not, make a promise, something that they cannot fulfill. And, they have to, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who multiplies. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives reward to the people who help their near relatives, the needy, the immigrants, and in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wal ya'fu wal yasfahu, and let them pardon and let them overlook. So we should not hold accountable on people, and we should not hold accountable to people on certain acts, on how much they should help others, how much they should help the needy, how much they should help the immigrants in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can let them go, and people can do those acts according to their own will and according to their own ways. Ala tuhibbuna an yaghfirallahu lakum. do not you do like that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should forgive you. Wallahu ghafurur rahim, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most forgiving and most merciful. We should not hold people accountable on those acts. Those should be left on people to do on their own as much as they can do. Inna allazina yarmunal muhsanati muhsanatil ghafilati til mu'minati lu'inu fid dunya wal akhirah. Indeed, those who accuse the chaste woman, the unaware woman, and the believing woman are cursed in the world and in the hereafter. Walahum azabun azim, and for them is a great, great punishment. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, don't accuse chaste women, the women who are not aware what is being told about them, and those who are believing women. Don't accuse them, because those people will be cursed in the world and in the hereafter, and there is a severe, severe punishment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yawma tashhadu alayhim al-sinatuhum wa aydihim wa arjuluhum bima kanu ya'malun. On a day will bear witness against them their tongues and their hands and their feet for what they used to do. On the day of judgment, if somebody gives a false testimony or becomes a false witness, their tongues, their hands will talk against them, and then they will be held accountable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yawma idhin yuwaffihimul lahu dinahumul haqqa wa ya'lamuna anna Allaha huwal haqqul mubin. That day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will pay them in full. So all of the discussions and all of the things that were coming to our mind, what if somebody is saying lying? What if the other person gives testimony wrong? What if a husband wrongfully accuses his wife? What if the wife wrongfully says, no, I have not done it, and all of these things? Anybody who will do something wrong, the final, on the day of judgment, when they will get the final result, they will be held accountable. No one can escape the judgment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the ultimate law. If we start believing in the day of judgment, automatically we'll start to correct our lives, and all testimonies and everything will go away in this world. However, people do lie, which is a reality in this world. They do lie to protect and get some temporary relief, just to protect themselves for a short time. But eventually, when they will die, they will be facing the truth. And on the day of judgment, they'll be held accountable. Al-khabithatu lil-khabithina wal-khabithuna lil-khabithat. Evil women are for evil men, and evil men are for evil women. That's the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wat-tayyibatu lit-tayyibina wat-tayyibuna lit-tayyibat. And good women are for good men, and good men are for good women. Ulaika mubarra'una mimma yaqulun. Those are innocent of what they say. Lahum maghfiratun wa rizqun kareem. For them is forgiveness and a provision, a noble provision. For whom? Good men and good women who have good characters. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pairs us in this world as well. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu la tadkhulu buyutan غير بيوتكم حتى تستأنسوا وتسلموا على أهلها. O you who believe, do not believe. O you who believe, do not enter the houses other than your own house until you have asked permission and you have been greeted on its inhabitants. Why? Because if somebody is resting, let's say in their house, or if there is a female in the house, you cannot just keep on entering. This is also about the protection. This is all about protecting the sanctity. That is the best for you, so that you may pay heed. Now again, the laws of the society are being formed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is raising the moral fiber of the Muslim society. And again, these are the laws that we should follow. When entering to someone's house, someone's neighbor's house, people don't take care of mahram na mahram. We need to take care of mahram na mahram as well. And then in the next lesson, we will go through the laws of how we should operate and how we should, as male and female, operate in a society. So we'll go through very important sections in the next class as well. فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدُوا فِيهَا أَحَدًا فَلَا تَدْخُلُوهَا حَتَّى يُؤْذَنَ لَكُمْ. But if you do not find in it anyone, if the house is empty, then do not enter it until permission has been given to you. Okay. So, but if you do not find in it anyone, let's say that you wanted to enter a house and you called them that, can I enter? And if you do not hear back, do not assume that you can just walk in straight. Okay. But if you do not find, find not in it anyone, then do not enter it until the permission has been given to you. وَإِنْ قِيلَ لَكُمُ ارْجِعُوا فَارْجِعُوا هُوَ أَزْكَى لَكُمْ. And if it is said to you, go back, then go back, it is better for you. So if for any reason the person inside the house asks you to leave, then it is better that you should leave and come back another time. Wallahu bima ta'maluna alim. And Allah SWT is all knower of what you do. Last ayah for today. Jazakumullahu khairan for all of those guys who stayed. I know there are a couple of hands raised. Let me just complete this and then I'll take your questions. Laisa alaykum junahun an tadkhulu buyutan ghayra maskunatin fiha mata'ul lakum. It is not up to you. There is no blame on you if you enter the house that is not inhabited. So let's say you have some task, you have put something in a house that you know there is no one there, and you have some provision in it, and you have put in your thing in it, provision for you. Then you can enter that house and take whatever you want. Wallahu ya'lamu ma tubduna wa ma taktumun. And Allah SWT knows what you reveal and what you conceal. So if there's a house, there are two rules that we just went into. One is, if you're entering a house and you know there are people living in that house, you go and ask, can I enter? And if you do not hear any sound, you cannot just assume that you can enter. No, you have to stop and go back. However, if someone then lets you in, they gives you permission, of course you enter. But if someone tells you do not enter at this point in time, or please do not come inside, then you are supposed to return and go back. Now, if there's another house that you know is empty and you have kept something there and you want to take something, then okay, fine, you can go in, take your stuff and go out. You don't need to ask permission because you already know there is no one living there. So these are the two rules that we just went through. Nuruddin, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, the video you mentioned, can you please share the link in the group so all students can see it before next class as a assignment?
The link of the video.
The video you mentioned.
Yes. Okay, so you're saying that I can share the immorality on the video on the group. That's a great idea. Jazakallah khairan. I will do that.
Exactly.
Sure, I'll do that. Muhammad Hassan Abdullah, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
As you talked later, that how we should not put our eyes on the mahram or non-mahram. I don't know the difference. But how do we save our eyes? But it's a natural thing that we see everything.
Yes.
How do we save our eyes?
Yes. It's a very good question. Inshallah, we'll discuss it in details when those ayahs will come. We have been asked, the exact words are, lower your gaze. Lower your gaze. And they have been said to both men and women, male and female. And we will cover them, inshallah, in the upcoming next two ayahs, in fact. In ayah number 30, 31, we will go through them. We have been asked to lower our gaze. And sometimes it is not possible, right? And so we may look to the other person as well. But what is not allowed is the second look. And inshallah, once we go through those ayahs, we will go through them in detail. Right now, we will end our lesson on these two instructions that we just received. So quickly going through the key actions from this class. Number one, Allah SWT is our creator. He knows how we should operate, which is why he has sent our user manual. Just like any manufacturer we discussed, who creates something, they send a user manual, a book of guidance, set of instructions. Similarly, that book of guidance for us is the Holy Quran. And it was sent to the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who was the last prophet, who explained it to us via his hadith and the sunnah, and he exemplified it for us. So we have to take this guidance seriously, as came in the first ayah of this surah, if we want to be successful in this life as well as hereafter. Then different instructions started to come to us related to the moral, how we need to act morally as a society. And then there is a very important point on illegal sexual intercourse, or those relationships that we are not supposed to have. And we discussed that in detail. For the unmarried male and female, they're supposed to be given 100 lashes and they should be sent into exile or banished from the land that they are living in, and they're supposed to be sent away. For married male and female, they should be stoned to that, meaning that you keep on hitting them with stones until they die. And these punishments should be given in public. While these punishments may seem harsh and they're not in line with the human rights and all of these things that we say, but however, they are beneficial for the society, because once people will see such harsh punishments happening, chances are automatically majority of the society will move away from them. And this is the logic and reason of the Sharia law and some of the punishments that may seem harsh to people. However, Allah SWT kept on saying in different ayahs, we went on those ayahs, that Allah SWT is the most merciful. Allah SWT knows, we do not know. So there is a hikmah behind this, there is a logic behind this, and we may not even understand all of it, but as Muslims, we should follow them as they have been given to us, because we know this is the betterment, this is for the betterment of the individual, and this is for the betterment of the society as a whole. Then we discussed about the false accusation against a chaste woman or a woman of good character. In case the accuser does not bring the 4 witnesses, then the accuser is supposed to be lashed with 80 lashes, and their testimony should not be taken unless they resent and they seek forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then they can, and they reform themselves. Finally, we discussed that today it is common to talk about males and females and to accuse them related to their affairs, and this is true for celebrities and famous people, and for the normal people as well. A lot of people do gossip. So for us, the key action is we should not forward, share, or talk about anyone's character unless we have 4 witnesses, and chances are we won't. So all of these forwards that happen and sharing, all of these things happen. This is not allowed in Islam. And then finally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us strongly about slandering people of good character or spreading immorality. Spreading immorality, someone who's spreading immorality is following the footsteps of shaitan. They're actually walking along the lines of shaitan. And which is why the action that we took for ourselves was we cannot expose ourselves or others to immorality, to avoid painful punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world as well as in the hereafter. And we also discussed that there is a short video. I will share the link of that video on our WhatsApp groups. Plus, you guys can also view it on YouTube. It's related to the immorality, what is immorality, what are different types, and how we can protect ourselves, and what are the actions that we can take to protect ourselves from immoral behavior and immoral acts. So this marks the end of today's lesson. Apologies, we went a bit over time. But Jazakumullah khairan to all of you who participated, and we had a very good, thorough discussion. There is a point in chat that I will just check. Sir, please send the link. Yes, I will send the link on our WhatsApp groups, inshallah. And okay, that's it. So this marks the end of today's lesson. Quickly, we go through the dua to end this gathering. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, I will see you next week, same time.